Hello everyone, welcome to Battle Arena TV, our very debut episode. For this episode I am joined by the main man, the man in charge, the promoter, the supremo of Battle Arena, Mr. James Price. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good. As you can see, I like to be referred to as Chief Dog's Body.
That is underselling yourself. You've transformed the MMA landscape of the UK. You've taken these fighters that were on these dodgy shows with no medics and no good referees, and you put them in the proper limelight they deserve and looked after fighters. But to that point, it's been a very tough year, hasn't it, James? How have you been coping with not being able to put on shows?
Well, I've been bulking. I've been eating a lot because obviously I've not been working. Normally I'm so skinny. No, I mean it has been tough. It's been tough for everyone that in our game, to be honest. You know, it isn't just Battle Arena that's suffered. There's a lot of other good shows out there that have suffered as well. I mean, at the time, starting in March, we had our first show. We were lucky to get that through, because literally 2 days after we went into lockdown. But we'd actually had 9 shows ready to go this year, so 8 shows that we couldn't do. So the only good thing about it was we put time into redeveloping certain things and bringing in new things ready for the big push in 2021.
And are you finding, are you getting feedback that people are really keen to start getting going in 2021? Or have a lot of fighters kind of slacked off the training, got a bit fat, or is everyone kind of jumping at the opportunity to get back in the cage?
I think where people have been able to train, they've trained. I think they've also slacked a little bit, some of them, but why not? If you can't go out there and ply your trade, then, enjoy some of the niceties in life. But as soon as we released that we were going for the 13th of March the other day, you're not going to believe this, but I literally had 210 people want to fight on the show. It's ridiculous. That's no word of a lie. So, we've got the interest is there. Yeah, they're all gagging for it.
Well, I think that's one of the differences that you have with Battle Arena compared to other shows. It's not just that everyone's probably desperate to get back fighting, but it's also people want to fight on a show where they're kind of safe and looked after. You have good officials and good medics and even the production quality. Most fighters, they have aspirations to be in the UFC or something like that one day. if they come through Battle Arena, they have these produced videos which they can then use for a reel and get more and more attention. Whereas some of these other shows where you're warming up in a car park and they got the St. John's ambulance putting you in the recovery position, it's awkward and frustrating. Is that like something you've consciously been trying to do, like evolve the show, make it better every time?
Yeah, I mean, right from the word go, we tried to do it right. Literally from the first show, we involved ISCA. We had 2 paramedics, doctors, ambulances, all that sort of thing. That was going back all the way back to 2009. And with every show that we do, we always look to bring something new in and something better in. Recently we brought in Becky and the hand wrapping crew, so we cover all the hand wrapping for the fighters. They don't have to do it themselves. They don't even have to pay for it. We constantly look to improve the production of the show. Recently, we've had new gloves produced for the pro and the amateur fighters. There you go. That sort of thing. Every time we do a show, we've got this sort of like regime and this ethos where something better or something needs to change for the next show so we can keep driving forward.
And if I was desperate to get my hands on a pair of those gloves, James, is there a way I could do it?
Well, let's do a little competition. Let's do it. I'll tell you what.
Very good.
If you're watching this now, share this stream, tag 3 people. We'll look at who shared it at the end of the broadcast. We'll put it into a draw on Sunday, and whoever comes out top person gets a pair of the new Pro Battle Arena gloves. How's that? So just to recap, share the stream, tag 3 people. We'll literally put your name into the hat on Sunday. I'll come on for 2 minutes to a draw, and you can win yourself some new gloves. Go for it.
And they are good gloves. They're the power grip gloves, some of the best gloves you can get. So I might even share that myself. Probably I'm not allowed to win it, but I'm going to try anyway, or get the wife to, and I'll have a go.
Yep.
So we did manage to have a show in 2020, right, James? So you managed to have the one at the very beginning, and what an amazing show it was. It was the only show you managed this year, but what a show. And there was some absolutely quality fights and finishes. And just one of them I wanted to bring up to you. So as you know, I'm a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and it makes me appreciate, and I like to mention that every opportunity. It's like being a vegan or a CrossFitter. You have to tell people you do Jiu-Jitsu anytime you can. But there was an amazing finish in the Joshua Brew versus Hayden Sharif fight. And it was a beautiful transition by Josh. He went from mount to an armbar, kind of missed the armbar, ended up with closed guard, cinched up a triangle, and then when Hayden tried to slam out of it, he managed to make it cinch up and got it even tighter, and then got a beautiful angle for the finish. And we've seen a real evolution with Josh on the show, and he's had some really tough opposition. I know Jordan Squires from Can Do was a big test with him, Antonio Luke as well, and we've seen him go from strength to strength. Is he one of those fighters that you enjoy watching every time?
Yeah, absolutely. He's a good fighter, and with the new thing that we're bringing in every time we do this sort of like finish of the show or finish of the knockout of the show. It was a good example of some good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu here. Really, to be fair, he's an all-round fighter, isn't he? So run VT.
I think we do have a clip of this fight. Oh, look, the clip pops up perfectly. So look, he transitioned from the mount, he's spinning for that arm lock, and he just missed getting the foot over the head, which was actually probably given him the arm lock finish. He's controlling the elbow, pushing it between his legs, classic triangle setup, closes the feet, and then Hayden decides to powerbomb out of it. It's a big risk move, because it's either you're going to pull it off, or effectively you're jamming your head deeper into the triangle. And I think with Josh is so aware of it, it's just a little detail, but he's got curls up, he pulls his head in so that when he lands, he's not going to land, and even posts his hand out a little bit, so just took the impact out. So he wasn't going to, land on his neck, he wasn't going to get knocked out by that slam, and it just meant the triangle was on. You could see how quickly he tapped. That was a beautiful triangle from the always talented Josh Brew. And I love watching, not just Josh, but he comes from Leicester Shoot Fighters under Nathan Leverton. Any of those guys, those guys are always so polished technically. They always do everything right, and it's one of the things that me and Steve really appreciate when we watch fights. Is just that beautiful technical skills that we see from the Leicester Shoot Fighters. And it brings me on to something I wanted to ask you about. We're seeing the rise of the super team a little bit in the UK now, especially at the forefront of that is BST I'd say BST is probably at the front. They've just had Modestus fighting in the UFC. And then you also have Renegade Jiu-Jitsu, and they got Leon and Fabian Edwards and Tom Breeze. You got a top Bellator fighter and UFC fighter. Do you think this is the evolution for MMA in the UK? We're going to see these super teams appearing.
I think, yeah, definitely. And I think each show, you know, that like Battle Arena or any of the other shows, they all have their kind of like super teams where they're developing through the ranks, and then you're seeing them going on to bigger shows or bigger versions of those shows that they're on. I mean, if you think at the moment, like you've already mentioned, we've got BST, Renegade. I mean, off the top of my head, you can say Leicester Shoot Fighters, Fearless. You've got up and coming teams like I don't know, Rising Crane, who started doing C class MMA and now producing champions. Same Town, Kraken. There's so many different people out there that, you know, are now becoming bigger and better. You know, it's a good thing. It's just showing the natural progression, and it's good for the fighters to see this progression as well. You know, actually seeing these people going forward.
Yeah, it's one of the interesting things for me, from me and Steve's position as commentators, is we get one of the best views in the house, but it's also quite often right next to one of the corners, and it's so interesting the advice given out, and it's one of the things that I think makes the difference between the teams that do really well. It's obviously they're affecting the gym, but when you have a Tom Breeze in your corner who's fighting for the UFC regularly and also does jiu-jitsu super fights and things, he's so calm and he gives such good advice, and he also knows when to shut up. Which is
yeah, I mean, corner work is one of the, you know, it's probably one of the most important factors of a fighter's development. You know, how many times have we been there where you've heard a corner say, "Don't get hit," or "You're getting hit." You know, that helps no one. You know, these well-polished people, they're on the floor, they're going position 1, position 2, right hand out, move to the side. You know, it's an art in itself. So, you know, but you know, everyone's starting to come round. You know, and it's got to be a good thing for the sport in the UK.
So I think we have a little advert for one of the up and coming shows that we have going. So we'll roll that when we can, and we will get us all excited about the future upcoming Battle Arena events for 2021.
Josh used the arm to brace, and this is the problem. Oh, it's all over. See, can he get the squeeze? And it's all over! Oh!
But he's out, but he's left his arm behind.
It's going to be tight. Oh, gosh, that's tight. There's the tap.
Got the right eye. Yeah. Oh!
Right hand lands and sits him right down.
At the moment. Oh, arm triangle.
Bloody Bardavania.
Got a shot, he's got the arm trap. He's on the jaw, he's fully on the jaw.
I think he's going to buy the time.
Off. Oh, he's out, he's out. It's all over. Oh, he rolled.
Yeah, wow, so that's obviously that's the next one, 13th of March. You know, it's looking really, really
cool
good.
Video. That got me excited. It was amazing. Well, yeah, Kev, for the editing on that one.
We've missed it. Just got to do a shout out to my boys, Zach and Theo. How are you doing? Listen, we at the start of this, we did a little shout out where you could win some gloves. Don't forget, if you want to win some pro gloves that we've had developed, you just share this stream, tag three friends. That's all you're doing. Your name gets put into a hat, and we draw it on Sunday. So, you know, dead easy. Get sharing. Going back to that show that we're doing. Go on.
Yeah. No, tell us, James. I'm excited. I want to know some of these upcoming matchups.
Oh, there's some beast matchups, really. What we're looking to do is in 2021 properly, develop the pro side. And then, some of the matches we've got on there are out of this world. I'll release them, not today, but some of the amateur fights in themselves that we're looking to tee up, top notch. I mean, we've got like Ryan Sahota, Will Haycox fighting. A lot of the good amateur names in the Midlands area. The bigger names, going for it. It should be all right. I mean, we just got a question for Glenn, actually. Glenn Williams saying, if we've had all these fighters come forward, why don't we offer them to other shows? And do you know what? I'm not averse to doing that. If there's shows that need help and they need pointers, in the direction of people who can jump onto the show and help them, then, I'm up for doing it. But for this time, just so you know what we've done, we will be doing the Birmingham show. And then we will be doing another show literally 2 weeks after, which will either be in Watford or Kettering. Breaking news.
That's so exciting. You just mentioned pro fights there, James, and we actually we had a pro fight at the start of the year. We had Joe Still Cummins versus Brian Hoy, and I know dealing with these pro fighters is a different process. And you had like a couple of issues with that fight and last-minute replacements. Can you talk us through that? Maybe we can see a clip from the fight as you do.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows Joe Still Cummins' pedigree. He's EFC world champion. He'd been a little bit static with the EFC because they were going through some changes, and he approached me because I know him through the when he's put fighters on the show and said, "Look, any chance of getting a fight?" We hooked him a fight with a Brazilian guy, got injured, and then late notice we put out the SOS like you do, and the Netherlands come calling, and Brian Hoy said, "Yeah, I'm in, get me over." So I think that was week and a half, 2 weeks notice, something like that. He lost the weight, got there ready to fight, and what a good fight it was. And let's be honest, we kind of expected Joe to do the business, but just unfortunately this time he didn't.
Yeah, it was such an exciting fight, especially the last few seconds of the last round, because it was so close, and that classic you hear the 10-second clackerboard, and then you just go, and then they throw bombs, and what an exciting fight! And it's interesting that Ballerina's taken this turn now into professional mixed martial arts, and I think it's a logical step because you had a lot of fighters that come through the Ballerina ranks, They've become champions, European champions, world champions under the Ballerina banner. And instead of sending them off to these other shows, now they've become these amazing fighters. Let's keep them on board and keep them going through the Ballerina pro ranks. Could you see yourself doing a full pro show at any point?
Yeah, I mean, as you know, our business model is really to try and concentrate on amateur. When we initially started, it then became, everyone associated us with kind of more elite amateur before they were going to take the next step. It was only off the back of people saying, "Look, we love the show, we love what you're doing, you always look after us. Do you want to do a pro show? You want a pro show?" I thought about doing it for a number of years, to be honest with you, and then eventually started looking at it with my business hat on. Would it work? Would it financially kill the promotion? All the rest of it. But we've got new pay-per-view deals and stream deals in place that can help us to deliver it. So we're thinking, right, why not? We've developed these guys. Let's see if we can develop them a bit more and then pass them on, to the bigger shows.
And I think we actually have a clip from that Joe Still Cummins Brian Hoy fight, which we're going to roll in just a second, or now if we can. And then it's such a different feeling when you have a professional fight. The guys are wearing 4-ounce gloves. The rule difference from the ISK amateur rules is that all of a sudden you're allowed knees and elbows, and it's a slightly longer round, it's a 5-minute round. And it can make such a difference. And it's even the submissions, you're suddenly, people might not realize this, under the ISK amateur rules, you're not allowed heel hooks and some of the more advanced spine lock twisters and things. And even though they're quite rare submissions, to be able to threaten them sets up other things and more common submissions. So it's nice seeing the kind of broader array of mixed martial arts techniques done under the professional rule set.
Yeah.
And here we have a little clip of it. This is towards the end of the fight. I think this is round 3, and we saw a beautiful head kick that could have really changed the fight from Joe Still Cummins there, and just Brian Hoy just blocked it perfectly. And it was amazing his conditioning coming in on such late notice. He had such incredible cardio. And I think he's signed recently to Bellator. Is that right, James?
Yeah, he got took on after this fight, to be fair. But what a lot of people didn't know, though, at this point, is that Silk actually did have quite a bad injury to his shin. No one really realised till he came out and the fight was finished. He took a good gash to the shin, and I personally think that's one of the reasons why we didn't see the normal Silk in there. And I think going forward, if he comes back or has another fight, but it'll be a different animal.
Now there's a fight I want to talk about from that show, and this fight has already become a fight of legend, right? And this is what I got messages on Facebook. People are still just watching this on YouTube and dropping me messages and talking about it. And it's the Andy Yates versus Hardy Choquette fight. And it was we were talking about teams earlier. It was Team Renegade versus Team BST. You know, you have these two incredible fighters. You have Tom Breese in one corner and Danny Batten in the other corner. And also contrasting styles. You had Hardy Choquette, who's it felt they're both brilliantly well-rounded fighters, but it felt like Hardy had the better striking and Andy had the better grappling, and Hardy's this kind of clinical technician, whereas Andy is definitely technical, but he's a little bit more of a brawler without insulting him. I mean, in a very complimentary way. And we had this incredible fight, and I think we're going to roll some highlights of it when we can. And one of the things that impressed me most was Hardy's angles. He had this incredible 1-2 down the middle, just like that. And then he'd always exit on an angle. It was like watching Lomachenko in Birmingham, right? It was so crisp. And he doesn't do anything. His striking, his actual punching is fairly kind of standard, but it's his footwork and his movement with it that impresses me so much. And then on top of that, we had Hardy doing his best Lomachenko impression. And then towards the end of the fight, we had Andy Yates doing his best Khabib impression, getting the takedown, looking for that wrist behind the back, which is now known as the Dagestani hand job, I think, the leg wrap position. And 2 rounds each, and no one really knew who had won this fight, but what a fight it was. Can you see yourself running this one back, Nick?
To be honest with you, at the time, you could have said any of those, either of those two had won that fight. It's only when, and this is fair play to the ISCA judges, it's only when I watched it back that you could see that Hadi just won it on the boxing and the crisper boxing. I actually think Andy's boxing in it was crisp enough. He was aggressive. He was definitely hitting harder. If I had my way, we're definitely going to run this back. I know both these guys have got monster futures ahead of them. Both of them are going to do really, really well. We're going to look after Andy. He deserves another shot at some bling, which he's going to get on the 13th of March, fighting for another belt. You know, if he gets that, then why not? Let's get him back together. That can be the swan song before they go pro. You know, it'd be amazing. But saying that, I don't think Hadi will have it his own way. I think you'll see a different Andy Yates, and you know, you've got to remember he's a high-level grappler as well, and I think that's where it'll go.
I think, strategically, it was Andy came on so well in the 4th and 5th round. He's got amazing cardio, which made a difference, but it felt like a change up in approach and strategy. It made such a difference, and I think sometimes when you're in there and you're striking, you feel like you're landing, and Andy was definitely landing. You got this confirmation bias, especially, you know, not all of Hardy's shots had a huge amount on them. Some of them were very hard, but some were just little peppering shots. I think he felt like he was doing really well in the striking, so that's kind of why he stuck with it. But when he went to his corner and he got great advice from Tom Breese, mix it up, look for the takedowns. And then Team Renegade, they got such good grappling. Like every fight now, they pretty much have this Khabib workshop where they get the wrist behind the back, they tie up the legs with this leg position, they get beautiful, perfect ground and pound going. And it's so impressive. I'm so impressed by Andy Yates and Hardy. And yeah, like you said, I think they both deserve another shot at various belts and huge fights. And what an exciting fight. And like you said before, these are guys that are going places. And we've actually had on Ballerina a few guys that have gone places. So could you talk us through some of the fighters that we've had on Ballerina that have gone on to some other shows?
I mean, recently, we'll just pick out Fabian Edwards. He was our champion and then went on to bigger and better things in Bellator. You got Sam Creasy, went into Cage Warriors. His brother Tom, you know, loads. You know, it's very good. We've got very good working relationships with a lot of these big shows. I know them quite well. If we have got people that are coming through the ranks, I will talk to them about them. They will keep their eye on them. And, you know, we are a very good route to the next stage. No doubt about it.
Now, I'm going to try and get our production team to queue up a highlight of Corey Belden versus Patrick Nakowitz. Am I saying that right?
For the your favourite historic fight. This is going to be one of the new segments, isn't it? Historic fights of the show.
Fight. But there is you know, I think you look back at your life and you have these little highlights right along the way, these moments that are amazing. And I've got to do a little bit of announcing for Battle Arena. And I'm friends with Corey. I hope I'm not biased as a commentator. I really appreciate Patrick's skills. He's a fantastic fighter. But to go in there after that incredible fight and war and come back and then be able to scream my friend's name at the crowd, for me was such a highlight. That's really selfishly. And an incredible fight. And what a comeback from the beginning. I mean, Corey got caught, he got dropped. The fight could have been stopped in that very first round, but he rallied and came back and got huge takedowns towards the end. And hopefully we've got some clips of it coming up right now.
Yeah. Basically, if people haven't actually seen this full fight, it's one they need to see. It's got everything in it. That's the wrong clip.
That's Hardy versus Andy, which is well worth watching again, though. Some of that footwork. We wanted the Corey Belden fight. We can hear the producer in our ear. He's abusing us. There we go. Look. So this is the very first round, and he gets caught. What a huge fight this was.
Very seldom to see Corey Belden.
You know, I remember Corey actually saying to me, the kick got him, and he was. He actually said to me, he went into absolute survival mode. He said he didn't know where he was for the rest of that round, and to this day, he'll openly admit he don't know how he got through it.
So yeah, he wanted to come back from that knockdown, that clean shin to the dome from the very talented Patrick Nakowitz, and then to rally and come back and get huge takedowns at the end of the fight and get the win. So everyone watching this, let's watch some of these clips, but also try and get, if you have 20 minutes to treat yourself, get on the YouTube channel and watch the full fight. Look at this. This is in the last round, running to his corner, dropping Patrick. That was after the comeback from that head kick. This is towards the end of the fight. What an amazing performance by both fighters. Yeah, well, he just looked a bit slow and awkward at the start of the fight. Not the Corey Belden we're used to, but as soon as he got dropped, he came back, like you said, he survived, he rallied, and then came back strong. And it's also, you know, fighting for amateur titles and things, it's one of the things you want to see from these fighters is that they don't actually just run through everyone. It's very exciting when they run through everyone, but you actually want to see them tested and have these tough battles and come back from adversity, because going to the pro ranks is not going to be easy. And look, this is right at the end of the fight. Corey Belden, he uses this Kimura trap here. See that? He's threatening a submission to force Patrick to the ground, and Patrick's so exhausted because he tried so hard to get the finish. And then Corey's got almost no effort there, but he's slamming those punches in, trying to finish the fight. I think he just does finish the fight. This is so close to the end as well. And what an amazing moment. This is going to be famous in UK MMA history when Corey Belden is champion of the world. Everyone will remember this moment. And amazing for me because I got to go in and scream his name very loud.
Yeah, you know what? The good thing is Corey has now gone pro, and he's had a couple, and he's back 13th of March fighting pro on Battle Arena. So that's good for us. We're really happy about that. So we can see him through, and then you'll probably see his coach in the background, Steve, jumping up and down, getting all excited. If you know Steve, he very rarely gets animated. Brilliant to see that.
Yeah, you carry on, James. Sorry.
No, go. It's cool.
Well, I was just going to say, so it must be a kind of bittersweet when these guys go off to other shows. Like you're talking about, they're going off to Cage Warriors and Bellator and UFC. I know you have big aspirations within the UK, but do you see yourself, is the Battle Arena goal, is it global domination? Are we going to see you, arguing with Dana White on Twitter one day?
Well, who knows? But I mean, we're trying to push it out. we're trying to push it out. I mean, the actual shows that I'm personally promoting next year, I can tell you where they are, but I'm not going to give the dates out yet. We're going Birmingham, Watford, Paisley, Cardiff, Manchester, Kettering, and Nottingham. And then we've got our guys who work with us who are going to be doing either Ireland or Northern Ireland, France, North Africa. And then I'm having meetings with all our representatives that we work with in the 16 countries to try and get the ball rolling in other countries as well. So, I'd like to say it was definitely happening. But as with all these things, when you try and put these things together, it's not as easy as you would like it to be. And things take time. But yeah, we've got ambitions to push it out. But, it's the same with everything that we do. We'll do it slowly. We'll do it carefully. We'll do it right. And, make sure that we can deliver it wherever we go. Oh, Rob Masters blast from the past. How you doing, Rob?
Great fire. Is there anyone you'd like to shout out and thank, James? Any sponsors? Anyone that's been supporting the show on the way you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few really. I mean, the new guys that we've got come on board. We've got Power Grip who have come on board. They're helping us to with the glove designs and delivering the merch and the shop and all that side of stuff. I suppose I better shout out the main sponsor, or my life won't be worth living. Catch Jolly Holidays, the wife. So yeah, so if anyone's ever looking for a nice holiday on the East Coast, yeah, go to Catch Jolly Holidays. And then obviously, big thanks to Paul Nichols and the guys out of Isca. We've supported each other for 10 years now. So, it's working really well. And then obviously, our friends at Netavisen who broadcasting us across Scandinavia and Northern Europe, we've been asked for better, really. We're just loving it.
And I've got to give a shout out to Steve Brinkman, of course, my commentating partner, the man with the knowledge. It's really an honour to get to commentate on Battle Arena and see these up and coming fighters. And it's something that me and Steve, we try and it sounds a bit cheesy, but when we're doing the commentary, we try and honour every fighter. We're trying to point out how hard they worked, what they're doing right, even what they're doing wrong sometimes, because we're both experienced fighters, and hopefully give them some tips that they can grow from, and really give them their due as fighters. We're not just sat there to shout when someone gets knocked out. It's not our style. And it's something I really admire. My commentating partner, Steve, his ability to, especially wrestling exchanges, break down what's happening and explain what's going on is second to none. So shout out to Steve. And shout out to Kevin, our producer, who's been running all these clips and making this smooth. And hopefully we can do a lot more Battle Arena TV, maybe do some Fight of the Night, some replays. What do you think, James?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, it's our first one. We've been playing around a bit tonight, people, just to see where we get. But we are going to bring in, regular segments where we are going to have, like we said earlier, fight of the night or KO of the night, finish of the night. We're going to have an historic fight. And then, obviously, when we get up and running, again, we'll be doing, breakdowns of the previous shows, favourite fighters, all the rest of it. So, it's the plan is there to do it. And then, obviously, we'll have to get guest people on. And, get them talking.
John Dykes just said, I want episode 2 already, and I would be quite keen. I like the idea of getting a couple of the main event fighters or some fighters that got a bit of animosity, get them both to Skype in, and I'll be in the middle and ask some questions. I'll wind them up, and as long as we can avoid getting the Brain Dead Ring Girls on, I think we'll be all right.
Oh, big shout out to Jack Banks, aka Banco. That's an in-joke, sorry.
It's a good fire. Right, thank you everyone. It's been a pleasure. Thank you from me, and thank you from James, and thank you from all the team here at Battle Arena. And tune in for episode 2 of Battle Arena TV. It will be coming to you shortly. We'll play out.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for bearing with us and putting up with us.
Cheers, everyone.